LDBC, this is your boy Coach Shelton Harrison. You're live on the Coach Shelton Harrison Boxing and MMA Show live. Okay, guys, this video is not going to go over well with a lot of you, but I got this request video, and this video really hits close to home to me. But, this woman, she was, pretty much upset, and she was just telling me, that her son is hanging out with gangs, and he's actually in a gang. And she said pretty much, what do I do to get him out of the gang? Okay. I'm going to park for this one because I'm going to tell you, I'm finna really kick some knowledge to you. And when I tell you that the knowledge that I'm finna give you right now, this will save your son's life. It's going to save your son's life, and that's just the way that is. All right, so here's the thing, okay? You want your son to stop gangbanging. Your son is, gun-toting, shooting people, shooting at people, okay? Hadn't murdered anybody yet, thank God. But you want him to stop doing these things, okay? I'm finna tell you exactly what you need to do, okay? See, for my program, it works. It works well for me because I've got the perfect breeding ground. Now, I didn't always have a perfect breeding ground, but I've got the perfect breeding ground, and it took me years to develop this whole system because at first it wasn't working, and I was having a hard time getting these guys to change their thinking. But little by little, I started actually figuring out how to get these guys to stop doing what they're doing and to do what you want them to do. And that's just the way that is. All right. You have to understand how a person in a gang thinks. You have to understand the mind of a gangbanger. You have to understand. And I'm not talking about these dudes with skinny jeans and the pants sagging off their butt. I'm not talking about them. No, I'm talking about these dudes will murder you. And they don't really care. They can murder you and not blink an eye. Those kind of gangbangers. These are the ones. We're not talking about your hard-headed son. We ain't talking about him. We're talking about these are bona fide. They legitimate. They legit. They OGs, okay? And that's just the way that is. All right, the first thing, what I do, you see, typically gangbangers, they really don't tell you that they in a gang. And if you got a kid running around to me, yeah, I'm affiliated with this gang, see, I know they not legit. Because the real OGs, they not telling you. They ain't telling you that they with the gang. See, you only find out if you happen to look them up online and get their police record, you only find out. Or if their parents actually tell you that they're in a gang. You see, they never tell you because they don't want a lot of people knowing what they doing. That's how you know. So, in his mind, and when I tell y'all that I trust a gangbanger, I completely trust a complete gangbanger. I trust him with my life. Because you know why I would trust him? Here's the thing. See, he's doing what he's doing because he thinks that he needs to do it to survive. I trust a gangbanger before I trust a man in a suit. I will. Because they're doing what they're doing to survive, and they think that they need what they think they're doing what they have to do to survive. That's why. And he does what he does because of survival. And a lot of times it's senseless. But see, let me tell you why they do the senseless stuff. It's because they have this void in their life. The void of belonging to something bigger than what they are. That's the mind of a gangbanger. That's it. And when you put them in a vehicle, it doesn't matter what the vehicle. And if they think that it's bigger than what they are, they're going to be loyal to it. And that's just the way that is. So I had a thought. I said, you know what? What if I can make them loyal, but put them in a part of something that's bigger than they could ever be, and they just buy into it? What could I do? And I thought of one thing and one thing only that helped me bridge that gap. The weight room. Lifting weights. What can these tough guys do? What can they do and what will they really take an affinity to? Getting buff, lifting weights. See, what young gangbanger, even the girls that were in gangs that worked with me, they had an affinity for the weight room. They wanted to get in there and see that sets the breeding ground. And two, since they don't tell, gangbangers are honestly, when they're around in social gatherings, like around people, I'm talking about like people that don't do these things, they don't do a lot of the things. They're actually kind of quiet people. I'm telling you, they don't talk a lot. They come in and they do their workout. See, they're calm. And see, I did some research, weightlifting. It actually gets the endorphin stimulated into a person's brain, and it actually relaxes and calms them down. Like when you work out, endorphins, they kick in. So with that knowledge in my brain, I said, okay. Because, boy, mama brain brought me like years ago. I remember this dude straight up. He just got out of jail. He's on probation. And the judge said if he mess up one more time, that's it. He's done. Had him in my weight room. The first thing I do with these gangbangers is I make all of them. I say, hey, we got a powerlifting meet. They be like, powerlifting? I ain't doing that. What? Nah. I said, well, okay, that's fine. Go ahead and do what you've been doing there. And I just take it away from them. But they see everybody else in there, and then, they'll walk over, and every time, yo, hey, man, you going to this weightlift meet? And it's the studious guy. It's the student. Now, I don't tell them that this guy was in the game. I don't tell the kids that come in there, like normally, I don't tell them that so-and-so was in the game because that'll mess up my business. I don't tell them that. But he'll come and ask them, hey, man, yo, man, you going to that weightlift meet? And they be like, yeah, man, they fun. And see, the kids who actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, they'll convince them, like, look, man, you need to go. Yeah, man, we need you. And see, as soon as those kids say, we need you to roll with us, guess what? It sets off a chain of events inside of the game banger's mind, because what does he want? He wants to be a part of something that's bigger than he is. He wants to. He wants to belong, but he wants somebody to give a damn about what he's doing in life. See, that's all he wants. That's all he wants. That's why I would trust the game banger, because if you're loyal and if you really show them love and if you're trying to help them, they're going to have your back. I don't trust a man in a suit. I just don't. Because those dudes, they don't never have my back. In fact, they try to stab me in it. And that's just the way it is. So I would start enticing these kids to get into these weightlift meets. See, the thing of it is, getting them to the weightlift meet, that's easy. But getting them to actually compete. You see, they've never, ever been in a spot where they just had to, somebody actually depended on them. They've been in tough spots. They've been in shootouts. But you would think this powerlifting meet just causes like a great deal of fear within them because they ain't never done it before. But as soon as they get their first lift out the way and those white lights come on, it turns a chain of events inside of their brain. Weightlifting, yeah. Lifting weights is the first key into pulling a game banger right off the street. But it's not just any kind of lifting weights. It's not just that. See, you have to, when you're doing that, there has to be a methodology. There have to be a reason why. Because, see, getting them to go to college, that's the last thing on their mind. They ain't thinking about going to college. The game banger, he ain't trying to go to college. He don't want to go. For what? School, he barely even go to school. He don't want to be at school. But see, I turn all that around too. Because guess what? They start going into these weightlift meets. They start, really getting into the environment that they're in. And they want to be in the weight room 24/7. After that first meeting, they get that first medal because they ain't never won nothing. They come back every day with a new fire and they work out harder. You know what, game bangers, they've been my best athletes. I'm telling you, female, male, my best athletes came from a former person that was in a game. Because they step up. They know that, oh, I can do something. This is something I can do where I don't have to die. I'm telling y'all, people, that's just the way that is. And they thinking they really don't want to die. They really don't want to be there. They're looking for something, a vehicle to drive that they can do. So I give it to them. I give them an outlet, the only outlet that they got that's not going to kill them. It's just they got to do some work. So they start doing it. And when they win enough of these trophies and medals, by that time, they're actually thinking about, doing other stuff. And so I introduce them all to track. And I tell them, you got to do an event in track and field. Now, I don't teach a lot of them how to box. I don't do that because a lot of the boys, man, they try to get bold with you, and sometimes you do got to take them down, man. I done took down a few of them. But, I don't want to be teaching it to them, and then they come up, man, them dudes will whoop your ass. I'm telling you. But, sometimes some of them I do teach them boxing. Some I don't. I let them run track and field. And a lot of those guys and girls, they're very, very athletic. They're extremely athletic. So they can go to a track meet with no technique, no form or nothing, and they can go win a race. They can go win a race or get second in a race, but they ain't never won anything that came close to it. So guess what? See, now I got them hooked. Now, but I don't let them do track with their school. Not just yet, because see, they don't like school. So why am I going to let them do that? I let them with me. They spend a year doing track with me. We travel to meets that the school don't go to. They get hooked. So guess what I do that next year? See, now they're hooked. They want to do weightlifting. They want to do sports. Now what I do is I say, you have to attend school. And I tell them you have to attend at least 4 days a week in order to be here. Because I can't, because I got to, I can't get, and I tell them this story, I can't get sponsored. And I can't keep my gym going if you don't go to school. And they be like, what? Yeah, you got to go to school. And I said, you got to keep a C average. Nah, man, coach, I ain't going to school. I said, well, okay, no problem. Well, what you mean, man? And they be mad. Well, we got a meet coming up. I said, yeah, but you're not going. What? I can't go what, man? You gotta go to school. And so they'll look, man, and one dude said, Coach, GD. All right, coach, man, I'm gonna go to school. Okay, see, the first thing is getting him to school. Now, don't have no expectations. Don't try to tell him to do his work. That's not gonna work. Okay, that's not gonna work. See, getting him at school is okay. That we finally broke through because we talking about dudes that they ain't been to school in months, almost a year. So now they back in school. Now they not doing nothing. So now, what I do then is I craftily, and when I say craftily, the coach says craftily, I get these guys to start doing work because they'll try to tell you, hey, well, you just said I had to go to school. And I tell them, you know what, man, you got to get a C average, man. And most of those guys, you know what, they not stupid people. That's the thing. They ain't stupid. They quite academic. They quite academic. So you'll start seeing change. Like you'll gradually start seeing them doing work because they want to be a part of something big. See, what I'm doing is I'm diverting their attention from what they were doing and getting them interested in what I want them to do. And they become interested in this new thing. They want it bad enough that they're going to want to change. Now, there's a lot more to it. There's a little bit more to it than that, what I do. But at the end of the day, they're going to go to school. And then eventually they go from D's and F's to C's and B's. And then they end up, most of them, now some of them stay in the C range, but most of them, they end up making the AB honor roll. I'm talking about these are former people that they've been in shootouts. They done robbed, killed, stabbed people. I'm talking about, that's who I'm working with. That's who I work with. And when I tell you this, y'all, I've seen the transformations happen so many times. These kids ain't got to go to no psychologist. They don't need a psychologist. They just need somebody to give a crap. That's it. Somebody to take an interest. And most of these kids, they can be saved. The majority of them, actually, you can save them. They just got to be in a vehicle. They got to be in a vehicle that's going to work. And then, you know, after they start doing their work, then I start talking to them about college. Man, I ain't going to no college, man. See, they don't think they can go. And I'm like, well, I got about 3 coaches right now that want to talk to you about going to school and for free. For free? I got to do some more work in college? I said, yeah. But see, that's the conversation. You can tell where this is going. See, these are guys that come in, they rough. I'm talking about these are dudes, they got the ankle bracelets on. They can't do nothing. But they go from just being these destructive people who going to self-destruct and killing themselves. They turn into people that want to do the right thing. Now, I ain't say I saved them all. I didn't. There are a few of them that they're in the graveyard right now that I showed y'all. And I still to that day wish there was more I could have did. But you know what? I've come to grips with reality with myself that there's no more that I could have did. I couldn't have. Because now the decision is on them. And they can choose to. I tell y'all a story about the Hispanic girl all the time. I tell y'all that story. Who was rough around the edges. I tell y'all that story all the time. Now she working out in Seattle. And she got a nice little paying job, man. This a girl that used to put razor blades in her mouth. That's old school. So you know she had an OG, man, that was teaching her stuff about the streets. She used to keep a razor blade in her mouth. And I'm like, what you need a razor blade for in the weight room? You don't know who gonna try me. Ain't nobody in here gonna try you. You gotta take that razor blade out your mouth with your silly self. That's what I used to tell her. You know? And eventually, you know, she kind of came to grips, but she was out on the street, man. And, you know, I felt bad for her, man, because her own folks had, you know, her own dad, man, uncle. I think it was an uncle, man, had her out there and basically was prostituting her to death, man. And she turned her life around. And what I'm saying is, ma'am, if she can do it, if these guys, I'm talking about they got criminal records, they done shot people. I'm talking about these people, if they can do it and go to college, your son can do it. But you have to set the breeding ground. And you got to take him around some men. Because your son not going to react to no woman. I'm sorry. Your son ain't reacting to no woman, and that's just the way that is. You got to get him around some strong men. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about alpha males who not going to listen to his stuff. They going to tell him to his face, look, if you don't get it together, I'm talking about tough alpha males. You got to do it. And you got to put him in something where the person, they're going to go above and beyond. They're going to go above and beyond, and they're going to put him in an environment where he can thrive. Bring him here. I'll get him into shape. Give me 6 months with your son, and I promise you, he going to walk a different beat. He going to think. He going to start doing stuff at home. He going to do his work because he's going to be a part of something that's bigger than what he wants. And that's what a game provides. They provide your son with something bigger than what he already is. But I give them another avenue. I give them something else that's bigger than them that they want to be a part of. Ma'am, I hope this helps you. This is your boy, Coach Shelton Harrison. I'm done. Subscribe.